I'm going to give this just a second so everything can kind of sync up. And then I'm going to test my levels and we'll kick this off. In the meantime, if people are curious, I have an internet. I have an interview here this evening, actually, and sorry, I think I'm coming through a little bit low. Wow, I'm gonna need more caffeine and brain power. I don't know. I've got some custom blend of tea here that I had come across. I think it's Tsao, TZAO. I feel like I'm missing it. Yeah, TZAO. Anyways, it was called Vanilla Macaron, and I really liked it. And after going through a couple of boxes of tea bags, I started to feel like I was wasting a lot of just packaging and stuff. So I looked at the ingredients, and it was basically, black tea, cinnamon, and vanilla. And so I've been mixing my own loose leaf blends, buying, vanilla beans. I tried with vanilla extract, and then I basically doused it and mixed everything up, and then dried it out in the oven, and on a low temperature for quite a while. I basically put it on warm and left it in there for a couple of hours. But anyways, it was good, but it wasn't quite there. And then I decided I wanted to try the vanilla bean thing, and so I got some vanilla beans and threw them in there. And I feel like vanilla beans must oxidize and lose their flavor very easily when they're dried out or something, because I'm not 100% sure, but all vanilla products that I am aware of that I've found are liquid form, or at least moist. So your vanilla beans are fresh. There's vanilla bean paste that you can get, which still has the high in moisture content, and then of course your vanilla extracts. Anyways, you guys are here for development, in theory. So everything seems to be working fine. Audio wise, so let's go ahead and kick this off. I think the way I want to do this, let's see here, I don't need this right now. I definitely don't need these right now. What I do need is a browser window and oops. Oh. I can hit the right buttons. And a GPT of some sort. So who do I want to? Oh, why am I not logged in? Sorry, let me make sure I'm logged in real quick. So T3 chat has become my go-to chat. I still have access to the APIs if I want to use as needed. You know what? How do I want to do this? Just do it like this. Sorry. Anyways. Yeah, it's become kind of my go-to. There are a few things that, how do I say it? There was a couple of things that I have found, and I can't remember them off the top of my head, that the primary ChatGPT interface, or it's been a while since I've used Claude, directly. But anyways, there's a couple things that they did better, or that I liked how it worked. but by far T3 chat has more things that work. Like, it works so much more consistently. Plus, of course, I pay my monthly sub and I get access to all of these models instead of just, one or the other for twice as much. That said, I'm trying to decide. I kind of want something that's going to have some thinking involved. Let's try 2.5 Flash. I'm just going to basically ask it to create me a project idea that should take 75 minutes or less, because that is what our goal is. So let's see here. Please come up with okay, so please, wow. This is why I'm glad I'm warming up now, because shake all this out right now and not have it in the interview later. So please imagine a web project that should be, how do I want to say this? That a developer should be able to accomplish in 75 minutes or less. Should I call it a challenge? Let's see. I don't want it to be too archaic or obscure, especially if it ends up hallucinating something that's not like, I have all of the noises going. I am so sorry. I hope that the background stuff is not too terribly bad. It sounded okay when I was listening to my own audio, but now I've got the freaking robot doing its nightly hall sweep. It won't take terribly long, but you know what? I can do it later, so let's send it home. Alright, that should be heading home. Alright, so I want to add, let's hear it. Imagine a web project the developer should be able to accomplish in 75 minutes or less. I feel like there's something else that should be here, something along the lines of that it needs to incorporate data of some nature. What is the shape of that data? I'm guessing is possibly part of all of this. As a skills valuation test. How about this? Come up with 3 ideas for web projects that a developer should be able to accomplish something. There we go. Let's try this. And then we can narrow down the one that sounds like it's going to be the most useful. Interactive to-do list. Yes, we've all seen those. Simple display with filtering, sorting. Seriously, words are hard. So, given a hard-coded JavaScript array of simple data objects, ergo a list of users with a name, city, properties, or products with name and price, display this data in a basic HTML table. Add a simple input field drop-down that allows the user to filter the data displayed by one property or sort by one property. I mean, I know I can do that in almost no time using libraries. I'm going to spin up T3 chat, not T3 chat, I've got T3 chat open. I'm going to spin up create T3 app then add ShadCN UI with a data table, and I can use, the only reason I'd use data table in this situation is that I am going to be allowed to use all of my normal tooling, and Claude 3.7 is really good at implementing the ShadCN data table. We've used it a couple times now, whereas doing it manually is a little, it's not complicated, there's just a lot of pieces, and so it takes a while. But it has pagination and sorting and stuff like that, sorting, and so the calculator also. I thought about doing this too. Maybe I should just, I mean, but I could literally just ask. This is the problem, and it's, I'm certainly not going to like vibe code this interview, but the question is, how much do I rely on these tools versus how much do I do manually? And a lot of these problems, especially problems I can imagine being, well, let's just do some of these, right? Like I could probably do all of these in just a few minutes, and then we can figure out where our problems are. How about that? So let's create an interactive to-do list. So I'm going to go ahead and pop over to my active projects, and we are going to npm dlx create T3 app latest. So I'm doing this because it is a really good boilerplate for all the tooling that I'm going to want to use here. I kind of want to play around with the, actually let's do, oh man. I'm going to do this one, create T3 app, and then I kind of might want to do the next one using the ShadCN bootstrapper. Yeah, I'm curious about it. Let's do it that way first. All right. We'll do a regular. We're gonna call it. This is a to-do list demo. I've never used the ShadCN builder before. Like I use ShadCN and UI in almost all of my projects, but oh yeah, Zinc, sure. Okay, so sorry. Oh, is this doing it? No source directory? Okay, so here's my thing about using source directory, and it has to do with this, like basically right here is, yeah, how is this stuff being included? Is it, are the newer versions of TypeScript better at doing this? Because it used to be I would have to include, I mean, it's like, so yeah, it's including everything and excluding node modules. But then like, I mean, I guess that's fine. I don't know. It just seems more messy to me. Like I like to have everything wrapped up in the source directory so that I know where, like if I, and I'll do this pretty frequently where I've got like a scripts directory. And this might, actually this is almost counter to the argument I was going to make. But like, I don't necessarily want it tied up in the rest of this. I might want it separate. And you know, it might be build scripts. It might be some sort of data processing, which is what it usually like is, some sort of import or database backup or, you know, something like that. Like I had a, using SQLite database for a project, and I wanted to have a backup script, so I put it in there. Anyways, that's why I like having it separate, because it might need to have completely different rules. And of course, there are other ways to do that. I don't know. I like source directory. I feel like it's cleaner. It just helps me segment in my brain where things go more easily. Okay. What do we have? So if I run this, pm dev, I was hoping. Okay, that looks like that works. What are my scripts? Dev, build, start, lint. Okay. And what does it have? It does have ESLint config, and it is the flat compact. So that's all fine. What versions am I running next? 15.3.1, so we're after the vulnerability. React 19. Okay. Yeah, for the most part, this is the stuff that I would usually use. Okay. No, I don't know. Does this... In 19 is the compiler. It's your React 19 compiler. How do we use the React compiler? Is it by default now? This is old. Even though it's saying 19. Let's see here. Because it's going to be really important for this peer programming session that I'm able to speak to why I am doing what I am doing, and I would really love to not have to manually deal with memoization, but also to be able to explain why I don't need to use it. So what kind of memoization does React compiler add? It's going to skip cascading re-rendering of components. Re-rendering parent causes many components in its component tree to re-render, even though only parent has changed. Skipping expensive calculations, for example, calling an expensive inside your component. That needs so it's basically trying to auto memoize things. So yeah, React lets you express your UI as a function of their current state. More concretely, their props, state, and context in its current implementation. When a component's state changes, React will re-render that component and all of its children, unless you have applied some sort of manual memoization. Let's go. They've got this React compiler playground, but what do I need to do? Here we go. You know what? Let's try this. Maybe I should ask chat here. In React 19, what do I need to do? The robot came back. Why is the robot back? I'm sorry. I just realized I literally sent it home, and it should not have any other job. Send home. I don't know why it came back. Somebody's trolling me. All right. What do I need to do to use the React compiler? Maybe I should say enable. And I probably don't need flash thinking anymore. I can probably go to something else that's here. ensure you have a build tool that supports. Yep. Let's see here. With next 15, yeah, we're 15.3, right? Yeah. And React, let's see here, 19. How do I, or yeah, what do I need to do to enable React compiler? I'm hoping it's like configured out of the box, but I honestly don't know. I might still be too bleeding edge. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. So in the next config, oh yeah, we don't need the whole thing. We just need this part. Come on. Don't need that. All right. Oh. I mean, I guess we figure this out so that I can use it, or it says I shouldn't install. What am I missing? After changing, you must restart. Yeah, I've done that. See what Next has on it. Also, I could ask actually vo.dev because they seem to have either added through wow, my brain is completely shorting out here. Either through like a vector database through RAG. That's what I'm looking for. Either through RAG or through some other methodology like, you know, training the LLM. They've added a lot of additional information around Next. At least that's my assumption because it usually does a good job about answering these sort of questions. So in Next, JS 15.3.0 and React 19. What do I need to do to enable React compiler? So it is saying, or it does want me to install that. And it's giving me some additional stuff here. So let's, I'm using pnpm. What does that do? Oh, okay. So annotation is kind of like so it's opt-in mode. That's interesting. So then it shouldn't short circuit if I'm not doing something that is 100% in compliance with the compiler, because there are certain things that need to be done for it to work right. Let's see here though. This should be with React compiler. Cool. Good deploy now. All right. Now, we go back here. Got a couple ways to think about this. I think the most straightforward thing to do is going to be clean, best practices. And there's so much I want to do, but I want to stick to basics here. Like, there's a couple of newer project planning, layout, memory things that that are very similar to stuff that I've built out manually, but they kind of automate some of it. But there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. So I think let's just do this. In the cursor settings, I can come over to rules, and you'll see here I've got a couple of things that are just kind of out of my personal preferences. I really want to build this out further. I almost want to set up like a MCP server that can pull this sort of information in, but it's nice just having it straight inline. But also I can add project rules. Rule type. Oh, they added manual. That's cool. But I'm going to say always. So every time there's a new chat, this rule always gets added. And it's going to be the project specifications. Okay, so this is a to-do app. And I can look at this. Go back up here to the stuff we were doing before. All right, so interactive to-do list. Create a simple web page where a user can type tasks into an input field and add them to a list. Each task should have a way to be removed. Yeah. Cool. I mean, I don't need chat. I guess the question is, can I do this faster with chat or without, right? I could have already had this done probably if I wasn't futzing around. So this is a simple web page where a user can type tasks into an input field and add them to a list. Each task in the list should have a way to be removed. All right, I mean, that's not a whole lot. Tech stack next JS 15 React 19. Wow, 19. Tailwind 4. Actually, what is it in the package? Yeah, it's pretty much exactly it. Okay, Tailwind. Oh, see, yeah, this is what I don't have, but I don't need it for this. But this would be a good when I get to whatever the project is. If I need like Prisma, if I need auth, if I need what else does T3 have that, I mean, there's a number of other things that this does not have pre-configured. However, and I'm curious, I should go look, I do appreciate how Tailwind and ESLint are configured. There's probably some rule tweaks that I would want to make, but we can get there. Primary. And then we'll include ShadCN UI. Okay. For using ShadCN UI components over building our own. And the main reason we're saying that is that the ShadCN UI stuff is using libraries such as Radix that have accessibility and other best practices built in out of box, and we do not need to worry about them because, or yeah, we need to worry much less about those sort of things. We can have them baked in by default, which I love because I am not an expert in accessibility. I want to learn more about it, and I really should spend more time looking at it because there's a lot that I'm probably missing that I will regret later on when I find out that I've missed it. So all right, so let's see here. And this is app directory. Appder router. App directory router. Okay. Let's run a page. Okay, so build the main to-do functionality. There's some other stuff that, oh, that's right. Keep files clean and modular unless there is functional reason. That's here. Keep files 500 lines or shorter unless splitting unless splitting the files creates performance or readability issues. Okay. Build the main to-do list functionality. It's here. Replace content of home with main to-do list functionality. Create list component and add it to the and place the home page. I swear, sometimes I just don't know why I have such a hard time talking to the computer. Heck yeah, love Zod. Let's add that to our rules. Zod. All right, we're gonna need to add some button. No, yeah, okay. Yep. So it wants to add button, input card, and checkbox. Sounds good. Oh, it was deprecated. Interesting. Okay. I didn't even notice the difference. did you know that you can create your own component registry using the ShadCN deployer here? It's pretty cool. You just create like a JSON object with a particular shape, and it will like install your component into an existing system. I think there's some limitations. Well, there's obviously some limitations, but one of the things I was noticing when I was trying to install one was that like it didn't respect the folders, like the source folder structure, and I feel like there's an opportunity there to do that. Let's see. Okay, what do we have? So we got a schema in a lib folder. Great. The button, the input, the card, checkbox. We know what all of those are because we have, I've used those a lot of times, although we will just double check them all real quick. Make sure they're all, yeah, looks good. Yep, we're using the newer React and Tailwind implementations. They used to be different. Man, was it Next or React? I think it was React, but you had to set these things up differently to be able to use them. Okay, we're good on that front. So the Zod schema, we got an ID, the text completed flag. I didn't even ask for that, but I mean, it's a to-do list, so yep. We're gonna accept this, looks good, and it's creating this, it's inferring the type from the schema the way I would do absolutely. So here is our primary component. So here is one place that I could have been more clear, it should have been more clear in the configuration, is that our components directory is actually outside of the app folder. I can move that after we get it confirmed though, it's not a big deal. So what's the implementation in page? It's just to-do list, right? Okay, so it is this. Just want to make sure I'm starting from the top. We got our state, and the state is a array of those to-dos. Then we've got a new, the add. Let's see here. We're using React compiler, so we don't need to make a callback out of this. I mean, I don't think we really would have anyways. I mean, yeah, maybe. Because of the dependencies, just making sure that they're right. Toggle to do is going to be going into that array. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so, right. So we're mapping over everything. I think I will turn that into like a map instead of a array. And then that will allow us to not have to iterate over everything. We can go directly to the record. Could also do that with like a key value record, but I like maps. Although it does mean on the flip side that when we're turning them out, we have to use different syntax, but. And the delete is, yeah, the delete would be simplified too. All right, so on change, we have an enter key down. That's great. That's pretty much what I would want to do. Sorry, now I'm just double looking at the style a little bit to kind of like see things in layers. So like it's really easy for me to look at like the functionality on its own, and my like pattern recognition in my head like clues like, keys into those things. But then I completely miss like structure and stuff like that. And I have to retune, and I don't know if I can do both at the same time effectively. I think I probably would lose fidelity, lose like resolution. I wouldn't catch as much anyways. So we have our standard. We're going to map over our to-dos. It's going to use the card object, Shadcn card. I wonder if I would use the card. I guess we'll see what it looks like. All right, this is fine. What's the next file? Is the main page. This is just importing the to-do list. It's getting rid of like everything, and it is implementing the to-do list. All right. That is fine. What does this all look like? Boom. It looks like an error. Is that still the same? Yeah, see, so this is something I have noticed. This is most certainly a client component. There we go. So, and I could wrap this in a suspense too, but basically this page is getting rendered on the server. We're getting like automatic server-side rendering through React server components. Next is doing some stuff in there too. And then this being a stateful reactive component is actually a client component, and we certainly could break. I was going to say we could probably break this down into more, render more on the server and have more going, more of just the reactive component stuff going on here, but that would definitely be a case of premature optimization at best. So add new to do. Well, let's see here. The next thing was calculator was the third thing. What was the second thing? All right, data display with filtering sorting. Okay, come on. Don't need this anymore. So data display with filtering and sorting. Ew. Oh, that's kind of gross. And then calculator. Okay. So let's do a couple of things here. First of all, let me actually let's bring this back up. Bring this over here. All right. So I really want to find out what they're doing with Laravel. I'm so interested in all of that. Guy I used to work with years and years ago. He and his team are doing some things with like React front end and Laravel back end, and I'm really curious what that looks like in modern tooling, because it has been a hot minute since I've used PHP. But that's actually where I cut my teeth on web development. Sorry. So I was thinking, I think that there's better thing to use rather than cards. I mean, I could use a data table. I think that gets. We can merge these into one. We'll do a sortable to-do list using a data table with a built-in calculator function. Yeah, I think we need to do that. How long have I been at this so far? If I wanna, sorry. Okay, so we're 45 minutes in, and I have been dinking around a whole lot. So, I mean, there's that at least. But let's just make this look better. What what was the other thing? So not label, because that's just, yeah. Not input. Hover card. What's that? Oh, cool. That's new to me. Ooh, I can add a toast in here too. I mean, honestly, I think we can use the card. It's fine. The main thing here is that we want this to be, so it's already supposedly set up with flex. Sorry, I'm all over the place. So the card, it's really not using this the way it's supposed to, because there's also like card content. And this is probably the thing that needs to have that. Yeah. And delete is kind of gross. Let's do a trash. I don't know what any of these really. Wait, what? Oh yeah, because we need to. Yeah, it's better. And destructive is fine, even though it doesn't look great. Oh, there's no hover here. Really? Huh. The button thought came with, so destructive. Let's see, where is that? So hover. Okay, so. Oh, oh yeah, there's. Where'd it go? Hover. It's supposed to get lighter just a little bit. And I don't. Oh, I guess I can see it on here. Let's say destruct. Let's make it. Yeah. Okay, that's easier to see. Interesting. It's still not that easy to see on the ad, but anyways. Oh, because it did it on destructive, not the other. Yeah, that's better. Okay. You could also add like framer motion, some other things to have these things come in all slick like. They're also way too tall. What is up with that? I think it's because of the card. I'm not doing this card thing anymore. We're gonna make this a. Let's see, I'd like to use semantic. What do we want to call this? Like an article. I don't think that's quite right. Let's see here. What is a good semantic HTML option for it? HTML tag for a to-do list item. Probably an LI, really. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly. This should just be a UL. Oh, it's gonna. That's fine. Still tall padding, that's why. PX can be 4, but PY, like maybe 2? Yeah, there's still some. Checkbox. Curious where that height is coming from. It is this. Oh. Oh, I'm still. Wait, I thought I. Didn't I accept? Oh, because it's. It's still using the card. Yeah, go away. No, thank you. No thanks. We're gonna just put that right on here. And we're gonna get rid of this stuff because that is nonsense. Wait, what? You can't flex on an LI? Isn't that interesting? Huh. This is why I love linting, honestly. One of many, many, many reasons I love linting is I learned stuff like this. I had no idea that, most browsers are going to render it anyways. Like, I bet you if I come in here, it's still, it's still technically doing its thing. Or is it? Oh, wow. I am leading you all astray. Of course you can. There we go. And the card had the border. Rounded. XL. PY2PX4. That looks so much better. Okay. I actually think that. Yeah, because we already have PX4. Again, thank you, linting. Let's do large. Okay. It kind of it matches this better. All right, so that's done. I could totally add local storage support or use like a local database, like an SQLite database, or a whole bunch of other things, but this is fine. I mean, this is what we did. And it works. It's super basic, but it's there and it's done. Let's move on, shall we? I'll create a Git repository out of this, and you guys can grab the code if you want to. I don't think that there's anything in the new repositories flow that would be damning, so let's just go through this together. I'm going to call this my to-do, or what did I call it? Yeah, to-do list demo. Next 15, React 19, to-do list. All right, and it's public. I'm not gonna add the license or git ignore, and it's because I like to be able to do dspart. All right. So I can go over here and I can add everything. So we're gonna say first commit, and then I'm gonna paste. Let's hear. Oh, I already got that. Sorry. I don't need to do this because I just did that in there. But I am going to create the main branch. I'm going to add the remote, and I'm going to push. Oops. That's fine. Now, one of my other fun things that I can do here is that, let's see here. Please update the README to include to describe the project, how to use it, and let's see here, how to install and it locally. I've had a few hallucinations when I've had, so this is Cursor, if you're not familiar. a lovely VS Code fork. Anyways, it knows a fair amount about the project, and sometimes it does a really good job about looking at the project and doing all this, and other times it is hallucinating a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, I totally forgot. Yeah, see, like this right here just reminded me. This thing really should be down here. Because I'm pointing like you guys can see. This technically would be a components page in the app router. We don't want that. There is a way to get around that. T3 app does it this way. And I believe that then doesn't, sorry, it would be a folder, not a file, but I believe then that does not generate a page out of that. If I remember watching the build, I don't remember seeing pages being generated out of that. So underscore is like a override for it. It says don't build this. What else would I do here? I mean, let's say the prompt is that easy. I would definitely I'd add auth database, probably just like local SQLite. I would add like a sitemap, probably a little terse, a little verbose for a to-do list. But anyways, what did this give us? So it's removing some things. It's interesting. It's saying it's bootstrapped with create next app, even though I'm using the ShadCN UI thing. It must be using that under the hood, I'm guessing. Simple and elegant. This is why I use LLMs to help me with my cover letters and my resumes. Not because I want it to do the hard work for me, but because I am terrible at selling myself, and it throws stuff like this in there where I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, it's not true. Double negative, sorry. It is not a false statement, so I'm okay leaving it there, but it's not something I would write myself. Anyways, it helps me pump myself up a little bit. Anyways, add new tasks, marks task completed, delete task you no longer need. It talks like a marketer in a way. At least this one is. What is it using? Does it tell me? I mean, I know I can select the model I'm using. I just wonder if it's telling me which model it's used thus far. Anyways, clone the repository. Okay. So we'll move this down here and here and there. Cool. And then, sure. Guys, I'm nervous. Not because I don't know what I'm doing, but because I actually want this job. I'd really like to work for this company. So far, everything I have heard, they're great. And, like, just... just trying to figure out the words. Like, it just they align. It seems like their values align with mine. Like the thinking aligns a lot with mine. Yeah, I think culturally it'd be a good fit. I think there are a lot of things I could learn from them. I think there's a lot I can bring to the organization, but also I think I would enjoy working there. So anyway, so this is all fine. I can mark down preview. Open preview. What is that? Control Shift J. Interesting, because Control J opens and closes that. So that being the terminal window. So what would we have? We have features. Prereqs. I wonder if that's technically true, 18 or higher, and where that came from. Do I have, I don't have an engines in here. No, I don't, 18 or higher, I don't think that's right, actually, because I think the React compiler or Next may require a higher, let's see here, minimum node version for Next 15, 18. Assuming that AI is correct here, I can validate that, but yeah, 19. It's interesting that it's not just like node. Do they have it in there? Let's see here, React, GitHub. Do they have it in their package? I mean, this would be for building their stuff, though. Let's see here. They don't have. I'm so curious. I've been seeing this a lot lately, and maybe this is like a legacy thing, and they just didn't change it. But I've been seeing a lot of large projects using Yarn lately, and I'm really curious about the thinking behind that. Can chat? Let's see. Let's add search. What is the minimum node version necessary for React version 19? Yeah, I know it's the build tools, like maybe minimum. So what it's trying to tell me here is like, well, it's not running on Node, it's running in the browser. Yeah, but it compiles in Node. Node version for React compiler. I probably should have had search on there. I mean, Babel requires 14. Maybe it is 18. I mean, I have NVM and some time. This is coming up on 5 o'clock, like an hour and a half until I have, I mean, just say an hour until I've got my hard stop. NVM. NVM. Remote. Or is it ls remote? I think. Or is it remote ls? I can never remember. Yeah. Okay. So NVM install. Should we try 14? LTS Fermium. Can I run the... Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, PNPM requires 18. Okay, well, let's just say 18. 18's fine. Well, let's not just say that. Let's test it. Sorry. I am not being irresponsible developer here. Hydrogen. Hydrogen. All right, let's try this. I mean, okay. And definitely seems like it's taking longer. Oh, there's some errors. Can't resolve. Oh, but that's because I moved it and must have missed the Wait, that's not accurate though. So I need to hit save. Okay, there we go. Ah, okay, it's working. Cool. So we'll say 18. That is probably also true. Okay. I think that's enough of this one. Oh, commit. Update readme with. I always get mixed up with, or not mixed up. I always struggle with, like, I feel my natural thing to type is like update readme, but this is like a list of instructions. What I want to say is what I did, which was updated readme with, anyways, pedantic semantics. Updated readme with install and local deployment and description. Moved component into component stir. Okay, be good. And that is committed. And if anybody cares, where did it go? Here's where it is. It's like github.com/curiouslycorey/to-do-list-demo. And you can come here and grab this amazing to-do list. Which I'm almost embarrassed to even have on my GitHub because it's like the I don't know, that demo project that everybody has. That's all right. It's not going on my pinned projects list. I'll say that much. All right, so let's do with create T3 app. We'll do the next one, which was I looked and I forgot already. Data sorting data table. Okay. DLX. So PNPM DLX is basically like NPX. So, like, if you were to do if you wanted npm to be your package manager, you would say npx create T3 app. Anyways, that's so pnpm DLX create dash T3 app at latest. Especially important you at latest if you're using like pnpm, which is going to be doing a lot of caching. It's going to handle your cache for you. I love pnpm for the way that, like, I remember one time I went through and I had run out of space on my like WSL partition. I've switched to Linux since then, but same concept. You know, I've got these folders full of projects, personal, professional, you know, whatever it is, and every one of them's got their own set of node modules, right? Unless it's like a Python app, you know, something like that. But that adds up. It gets huge. So pnpm puts all of those in the same directory and then links, like does a link to your actual project. So I have different copies of the different versions of those software of those packages, but if I'm using the same version of React, the same version of Next, whatnot, it's going to use the same code for all of those projects. Data sort filter demo. All right, we're going to use TypeScript. Yes, we're going to use Tailwind. Am I going to use TRPC here? I don't think so. I mean, I could grab the data from the back end and show some things like suspense and whatnot. But I don't think that that's... No, I'm not going to complexify things. Yes, I know that's not a word. I do think I want to use Prisma here, though. I want to put this data into a database. And I'm going to use Prisma instead of Drizzle, mostly because I am more comfortable with Prisma, not because it is necessarily a better option. A lot of people really like Drizzle. I like it. There are some things that I struggle with, but I think it's mostly learning curve, and I just need to spend more time with it. I really do like Drizzle's built-in data editor better than Prisma's. Give them that for sure. And I will use the app router? It is not necessary. So it just depends on how I want to build this. I'll use it. We're going to use SQLite. I'm not going to plug this into an actual database. Yes, I'm going to run git repository. This is the default. I'm gonna go with @ instead of @ because that's what Shadcn uses by default. Now they will use whatever you use. And they've gotten a lot better about that, but anytime I end up doing copy paste, and sometimes like the LLM doesn't think to check and just defaults to @. Anyways, let's see data. Sort filter demo. So pm/pm/db push is going to initialize our database structure and create it in that SQLite file. And it's going to generate our client. And then I'm going to open this up. All right. Now let's create a new repository for this. Why not? So this is going to be data sort filter demo. Sort filter demo. Next JS 15, React 19, Tailwind 4, Prisma. This is getting too long. Let's just say, yeah, next 15, React 19. Do I want to try and set up the compiler for this one? Yes. Data. Load and filter demo Shadcn UI. Actually, let's tan stack tables. So Shadcn UI actually uses tan stack tables under the hood, which again is an amazing API, but it is so complicated. Like it, again, not really complicated. There's just so many moving boilerplate. There's so much boilerplate. All right, so if I want to get this, we're going to say first commit. And then I'm going to grab just these lines. I'm going to put them in here because it's the fastest and easiest way. I know I could do it through here, but this is just a very fast and easy way to make that happen. And now, like, it's here. So the code is under curiouslycorey.com/data-sort-filter-demo. Okay. Now I'm going to need to install Shadcn UI because I did not use their initializer. Oh, good question, actually. So what do we, I think that they fixed, let's see, ESLint. Yes. So you see there's a lot more going on here ESLint wise. It's much more opinionated when it comes to ESLint rules. This much is a little bit much, but it forces better habits. I'll just say that. All right, so if I look in my package, Tailwind, yeah, okay, we're at 4 here now too. So let's see. Sync. Okay. Oh, no, that's interesting. Because I didn't choose TRPC, it didn't create that additional component. So it doesn't have that file in this one. Anyways, it's fine. Everything's looking fine. And does it run? Yes. Okay. I don't need to stop at. Well, I guess because I want to add the data tables. So we're going to go to data table and we're going to follow the installation here. Okay. So it's a 2-step dealie. We're going to add table. And then we're going to add TanStack React table. Oh, so that's adding. That's interesting because I wonder why they have to do it that way, because they're installing the dependencies such as Radix and whatnot when you install like a button. I wonder why I have to do that separately for this. That's fine. Now here's what I'm gonna do. First we need to define some, well, first we need to nuke this stuff. Nuke. And nuke. And it's fine. It's a fine place to start. All right. All right, so the suggestion was like name. Oh, did I lose it? Sorry. Where did it end up? There it is. Oh, I guess, do we want to turn on the compiler? I do want to, let's try the compiler. Okay. Oh, sorry. Totally not reading chat. No. Yeah, that's not a good habit, but I need to open it up over here because I am already using all of my screen real estate on both monitors. But I can go to this interface. Anyways, I don't understand the way. Do not understand why that isn't the default way of managing packages. Can't think of a good reason in PM2. Yeah, seriously. I mean, I guess that's why PNPM exists. Why wouldn't? I'm not sure why why NPM hasn't decided to do that out of the box All right. Now chat. All right. It's interesting. Does it not show past messages? Oh. And yeah, productivity. Oh man, and I missed a spam too. Yeesh. Guys, I'm slacking. Sorry. Yeah, I'm working on basically just interview prep. I not too terribly long ago ended up well, I was working for a small startup and they had to reduce staffing back to the C team, and so I am looking for a new gig. And so I am here working on just preparing for an interview because I have not done a paired programming I've not done a paired programming interview before, so figured this is a good way to practice explaining out loud what I'm doing. Pretending I have an audience. And now I have to remember where Twitch hid the delete and ban and mute. Tip, that's command, not. Right. Sorry. Okay, cool. That makes things a little easier. I was looking at this because I wanted to just grab the next config for the React compiler. I wonder if we're going to have to install that other... if we're going to have to install that, the compiler package. I'm assuming yes. Oh, that's interesting. That is not formatting. Am I just behind? Don't like that. What's the... That should be good. Huh. Well, that worked. The just prettier, but the ESLint part didn't. If I pop over to one of these, is the ESLint broken? No, it looks like okay. Huh. Okay, I'm not gonna worry too much about that right now. That is not here nor there. Okay. So we're going to, this is what I've figured out from before. Sorry. So this worked last time based on the documentation found at here, and grab the tan stack table, and here create. Oh, but sorry, now I'm getting sidetracked. What was the data structure that we were going for? I know it was like name city or something. So name and city, yeah, we'll just do that. City. Yep. Okay. This is not where to do this, but well, then if it's not where to do it, then let's not do it there. Let's say so this can be TypeScript unless I want to export like icons and stuff, in which case it needs to be TSX. I'll just say it's TS. Beautiful. And then that is exactly what I want. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so let's grab then. This is going to be type user data. Array. Oop. Okay. Data table to display the user data found on page. The data table. Let's see here, the user data table should be its own component. Added to source components. And this, wait, yeah, this is basically what I would still name it user data table, but yeah, it's going to have, a data table basically is going to have its own X number of files. I think it's like 3. You're going to have your columns, you're going to have your columns row translations, and then you're finally going to have your actual implementation. All right, so the page is now implementing the data table. It just removed justify center and added a 24 padding. Okay, let's see what that looks like and why I did it that way. But okay, so here's the column definitions. Yep. Looks perfect. And then here's our actual data table. I don't actually know what FlexRender does. I'm gonna have to find out. Okay, that's the, so it helps you define like a rendering for the specific cell, and I don't have any. I think it would come into column definition. I'd have to look at one of my other projects to remember for sure, but yeah, it basically adds their component. It's a component wrapper that you can define basically here. So anyhow, there's more to it, obviously, but that's the gist of it. It's funny, I just keep seeing welcome to the chat room messages. I have no idea if like I'm actually like there's followers or not followers, if there's people dropping in, or if it's just like this ping sort of thing, keep alive. I don't know. Shows you how much I stream. Okay, anyways, finish reviewing this. So yeah, we got a table header with the headers are coming through the way I would expect. Yep, headers, header group is mapped. We got our table, and we've got a fail over for no results. I never did enable the compiler. That's fine. It's not what we're doing right now. And then the index export. Oh, I mean, we don't. It's fine. I don't usually do that. And like I'll do that if it gets complicated enough that I want to be able to cleanly import certain things like that, but to do it for 2 files is a little, again, terse. That's fine. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Oh man. P N P M. There we go. Oh. Huh. I did add it. Oh, because it's under experimental, huh? Yeah. Let's try that again. And now, yeah, it's going to need me to do that. Which I think is literally just named that, but let's check. Yeah. Is that DevDep? I would assume it is. And let's do the same version. Oops. There we go. Oh, and that is probably a DevDep, right? Can I just do that and it'll move over, I think. Yeah, perfect. Now, does this work? Sorry, which was the one on this screen? None of them. Here's what we got. All right, so here's our basic stuff. No problem. Now let's add, please add sorting to each column. Need the button. Sorry. I thought it was just going to be compiling and then I could look back and it would be done. I've got too many windows open now. I don't need this. I don't need that. This can go here. What happened to Shad? There it is. Sorry, so I need to grab the button. And install that. Was there anything else? I think that's it. Let's look. Yeah, okay. So adding sorting. Yeah, so here's where this is what I was talking about with like some of that custom rendering. So now, instead of just the ID, we're going to build out a custom renderer. So each one of these things is getting basically it's up, down, sorted, not sorted. Looks good. So here, we have now, so just calling, so we also have the sorting state. We're gonna have the sorted row model. We are now going to be using state. It already was client components, we're good there. Adding the sorting and whatnot to the table hook. And the rest of this doesn't change, which is one of those interesting things. So that's where this flex renderer, we implemented this out of box, and it is flexible in that you could, define this in a lot of different ways. I'm just thinking like it'd be nice if like this was kind of pre-configured. Anyhow, yes, we are good here though. This is what I expected. And let's see. Okay, so this is the only one now. Good. This was our old error. Udemos. All right. Cool. And if we sort here, oh no, that's interesting. Oh wait, no. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Sorry, I thought. And then this one. Yep. Okay. Udemos. That is exactly what we wanted it to be. So we sort by ID. This is ascending, descending. Same here. We go ascending. The JAs are before the JOs. And city BCLN. Excellent, or in reverse. Okay. Oh. Yeah. Now let's please add a search function to filter the results. Where the string search query partially matches any cell content or any content from the row. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Yeah, and so here's where yet another table. Okay, so we need input it's gonna do that for me. Is this gonna, yeah, deprecated. That's fine. Now it knows. I usually do not drink caffeine this late, but mine's been a little fuzzy lately. I need as much clarity today as possible. This is gonna be that, right? Because this is oh, maybe it is an at. Oops. Where is that from? Yeah, button's there now. Oh, I haven't done input yet. Wait, isn't that? Oh, it didn't. Huh. It didn't really notice. That's okay. I will install it manually. I'm gonna grab input from Shadcyan over here. We're just gonna do the install. Oop. And dev. We might need to restart the TS. Oh, no, that's not what I want to do. Restart the TS server. There we go. And placeholder value is from the table global filter. Where's table come from? It's a prop. This is fine. I like the use of generics here. Keep ourselves well typed. Significant changes enough to the point where it. Oh, now we're. Wait, no, it was before. Yeah, okay, it had to add an extra div. Basically. Makes it harder to see the changes, but so now we got the search added up there. Okay, and then the next file is just adding to the, what do they call it, barrel. And hooray! So if I put in number 1, it should just be this one, right? Yep. Okay. And if I put in John, and if I put in Jane, if I put in Los, it's interesting. So LO. Wait, where's LO in Jane Doe? Oh, because it is Los Angeles. Sorry. Oh, Brainsmith. Yeah, okay. This is fantastic. Cool. Number 2, done. We will commit. And while we're doing this, please update the README to include install, local install, and local usage instructions, as well as a clear description of the project. Okie dokie. Cool. All right. So added Shadcyan UI, added data tables, added table implementation for user data, added table sorting, added table filtering. Commit. All right, so this Just gonna scan through here, make sure we're not vibe coding. Oh, I never did do this in the other one, huh? Yeah. I appreciate that it's keeping in credits. And MIT is fine for licensing. Cool. Cool, and we sync both of these, and they shall appear here. Look at that. Now, if I was doing this not just for this purpose, but for other things, like for actual usage, I would most certainly go to a clean directory and follow all these instructions. Check this. Oh, you know what? I never did do the database side of things. Did I say no to TRPC even though I was grabbing data from the database? I must have. I don't know. Did I? Let's go. Let's go look real quick. Okay, I said TRPC no. Boy, I guess I was half in thought. I'm really gonna have to make sure that for this, for the purposes of this interview, that I am really checking my assumptions and that I am clearly thinking through pieces like that instead of, slapping it together, so to speak. Anyhow, I only have about 15 minutes till my hard stop. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here because I'd like to be as prepared as possible for this thing. But thanks everybody for dropping by. I hope that something here was useful. And yeah, follow along. And, well, sorry. If any of this was useful and or entertaining, please follow along because I am trying to do this more frequently as it is fantastic practice and there is no better way to learn things or to expose the places where your knowledge is the weakest by trying to explain it to people. And so, streaming is an extremely helpful tool, especially if people like you stop by, ask questions. I will definitely try and work on my streaming etiquette as far as, paying attention to chat and whatnot. But yeah, again, thanks everybody. I'm going to call it here, but until next time, happy hacking.